What up? Another portfolio review. Wow. There we go. The wire out the way. Let's do this. Two more. We moving. Right. All good? Yeah, all good. Okay, cool. So, mic's on. Two more pieces. Let's have a look. So, got them loaded up. Question, but yeah, and then question is just to look at the work and review it. Cool. So, look at this one first. Coolio. So let's have a gander. Personal project, lit on Unreal Engine, came across the environment pack. So, okay, cool. Yeah, you've kind of built this up from various asset packs, which is cool. And you've built it into your own sort of composition. That's cool. Yes, it's good to see as well. It makes things unique. You know, you won't see this around 100 times, right? So that's the benefit of doing your own composition. So let's see what you got then. So the ship. Do you do some texturing on it as well? Okay. So you just did texture. Cool. So you're doing like a level artist sort of pass on it as well. Cool. So lighting day, reference day, breakdown. That's cool. That's like how they do it in the movies, right? They show like the horizontal swipe of how you're lighting stuff. Very Sea of Thieves, this one. Lighting reference. Okay. Okie dokie. So, yeah, clean. It's pretty clean overall, I'd say. You're probably missing... Yeah, so you've got some good breakdowns, but you don't have... Even though you've got the swipes of how the render is built up, it'd be nice to see, like... your actual lights, like how many are you using? How are you using them? What are the settings? Is it physically based lighting? Is it random values? What's exposure? You know, these are the things that you're missing on this, which would be, you know, you question it, right? See this come through for a job. We would probably want to get more information out of you in the interview of how you've actually lit it. And if you're thinking about stuff technically as well. So that would be important. So let's see how you build up an actual scene. So it's interesting that you start sort of, you start with it already lit. It would be nice to see you start from black. So you've already started with some lighting here. So it would have been nice to see you start from complete black and then your key light goes in and then your fog. It just makes things a bit cleaner, right? So you're already starting off with the ship being lit. So it would be nice to see how that's happening. Right. Ship modeling. And yet serves the purpose. So I'm looking at the lighting for this, right? So I'm thinking, what does it need? So there are a few things that stand out to me. I don't know if it's based on the composition or that I'm not seeing the full picture. Maybe we can get this up on a few of the relights, actually. Okay, so you do actually change set dressing on some of them. And we'll take these two because these two are quite similar, right? So from a lighting perspective, firstly, compositionally, yeah, it's framed pretty well. lighting wise, so this first shot gets a little bit strange because you're opening. So it looks like your opening changes, right? So this shot shows it a bit better, so I can see that there's an opening. Oh God, how do I make that bigger? That's so small. There we go. So this shot's a bit better at showing the opening, right? Showing some of the openings in the sky that can motivate stuff. But I think the issue with this one is this almost looks blocked off. So it's like your God rays are they're coming from the rock. Like it doesn't look like it makes sense, right? There could be a hole there, but it's not really apparent that there's a hole there. We're not seeing any sort of light in there as well. So here you've got signs of light where the sun is sort of kissing the rocks, right? But in here, it's kind of like the God rays are just placed there. You've also got one other thing about the ship in general is the amount of light that is hitting the ship. One is very strong, so you're almost blowing out to white here for the inside of a cave, right, where the light's trying to get through. And the amount of brightness on the ship doesn't make a lot of sense with where the light's coming from. So your biggest opening is here. You don't have any signs of a set dressing open rock here. But then the God rays that are hitting here, you would want to leave some of the ship in shadow. So whenever you have a big object, I said this in the last portfolio review of the other folks, right? Whenever you got something large and vertical or something that's large, you create so much more drama, contrast, and cinematicness, extra juice if you have stuff in shadow. So what you're doing here is the start of it, but more dramatic, right? So I'm thinking like, okay, God rays are coming in and we're hitting like this part of the ship. But then over here, we're going into shadow because you sort of blowing out your highlights a little bit. So that could be my monitor or it might be the highlights. Let's look at the value actually. Yeah, you're going pretty contrasty, maybe a bit too contrasty on the highlights. Your value structure overall is pretty good when I zoom out. It's just that things are getting a bit too exposed on here. So if I have a look at the values of your highlights, right? You know, you're at 97%. That's pretty high. Have a look at your shadows. Shadows are fine. 4, 2, yep. So yeah, check your highlights. Check the amount of light hitting the ship because it's very apparent that it's fake lit. Just with how the set dressing and where the God rays just come from the rock for no reason. Another thing I would do is, you know, you want, this stuff is already dark, so it's getting some value structure, but I would take the fog out, take this blue fog out here, try and get this a bit more darker, try and get this a little bit more darker. So if you're using Lumen, I think you can, depending on what's hitting this, you can make some basic cube and put it on shadow hidden and start to get this going. Or you can put this on lighting channel 2 and you put the rest of the environment on lighting channel 1. I can't recall. Yeah, I think lighting channels work with Lumen. I've not used Lumen in a while, so but there are ways, right? You can either use lighting channels or you can make a material instance that darkens this rock, and it's going to help you get, even though it breaks the physically accurate sort of feel, right? It's going to be better composition wise because, you know, you'll have stuff much darker towards the camera. So it just builds on your value structure even more. Okay. So yep, have a look at those. I think the same with the underwater one as well. Like it's quite bright under there. Whereas if you're under a cave, so you're probably pretty low, right? So you'd want a bit more like this one with darker values towards the bottom, just to help the ship stand out. And again, remove that sort of fog from the side. Try and darken these framing elements if you can. My favorite one is this one. So this one is probably because I like this style anyway of sort of high fantasy, right? But with this one, it carries a few of the same things, right? So this one doesn't have as many of these shoes, but you've got like very non-physical accurate sort of stuff going on, right? So you've got this lantern that is, it's like, it's very stylized. If that's your intention, don't mind me, but this is quite blown out and over the top, right? So usually when the further away your light gets, the fall off inverse square law, you're going to get that light fading out much more. So just be careful of that if you can. And again, you don't need to see any of this, so you should probably go almost to quite dark on these sides to focus in on the image. And then this as well. I'm not sure what that is, if it's fake moonlight or not, but it's a bit too apparent is what I'd say. So yeah, show your light breakdown, try and work on darkening those elements closer to the camera, check how intense some of your lights are on the ship, and make sure the set dressing supports the amount of light coming through, because the God rays in this one come down here and down here and here, but then you're getting this huge intensity pop. So you've got a bit too much intensity on the ships with your lighting pass. So just try and apply a bit more physically accurate lighting. It doesn't have to be full on physically accurate, but try and think about how light would fall off and how much it would sort of affect the surrounding meshes, and try and get big objects more in shadow, more cinematic, more dramatic push of the shadows and the framing elements, and you'll be good to go. But I think, again, the initial read is solid. Show your light breakdown and you'll be good. But I think you're in a solid spot for this. So those would be the things I would probably be looking for when you are lighting. But yeah, the overall piece as a whole is pretty solid. But those were the things I'd consider for your next projects when you move on to them. All right. But cool. I say it is one project. But yeah, I definitely see your style does seem to be more colorful and stylized. So obviously I come from more of a hyper-realistic lighting background, so I'm a bit more biased towards that, but I still think you can have those compositional tonal value ranges in place to push the images further. Like even with this, if you can just get this, you like vignette, push the vignette up, or try and put some negative lighting here, focus the eye inwards, and you will be good to go. But yeah, keep it up. Solid stuff overall, and very unique. So let's go next. Oh yeah, I should be had a specific question. I'll say you've just started off and you're already doing a great job. So keep it up. Just get more reps in. Keep lighting stuff, and see if you can look into physically accurate lighting as well, and see if you can look at some stylized lighting for master studies as well. Maybe like Peter Tran, he's got a lot of stylized stuff as well. But yeah, you're on the right track. So keep it up at this stage. Good stuff. So next one, I'm still a student taking a 9-month online program that goes over lighting, but only touched on the technical bits. Didn't go into any theory. And thank you for the reviews. Yeah, no problem. So let's have a look. YBXMGY. Oops. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So real-time cinematic and game capture artist. Okay, cool. So I guess your focus is more cinematics. So you want to go more into sequencer and character lighting of sequences versus game lighting, or maybe a bit of both. But even, from what I can tell, it does look like you want to go down that route. So yeah, the rules for cinematic lighting are a bit different to game lighting. So with cinematic lighting, you can fake a lot, you can override environment lights, and you can go a bit over the top with stuff. You can even disable the environment lighting and do your own lighting on the character. You can fake much more, so it's a much more, I want to say, I wouldn't say creative, but you're not as limited as much with environment lighting, because with environment lighting, you have to light to where the player can run through, make sure it's accessible, make sure it's not too dark. If you put the fog in one place, it's going to look weird from another place. Whereas when you're in a cinematic, you're on a locked camera, maybe at a high focal length, you can really do a lot of stuff. So it's a much more expression of lighting, I find, compared to the more technical game environment lighting where you're setting stuff in stone. So let's have a look. You got a lot of breakdowns here. So I guess I should watch this. So usually, the cameras, usually like a lot of camera artists will also do lighting as well, which is cool. It depends on the skill. Like I come from an environment art background, whereas I know lighters that come from a cinematic background, so they can do their cameras and their lighting as well. But usually you have camera artists in the studio, so they will set it up for you. All right. Cool, good to see you doing stuff here. It would be good to get, again, with cinematics, just think over the top cinema, right? So right away, I'm like, okay, these need bloom. They've got no bloom. They look a bit flat. If they've got bloom, you can have the red light shining and giving like a rim light on some characters. You don't necessarily need these bits here lit. So you can focus the eye down here as you go along. And the terrain is a bit dark in some areas. But yeah, it's just little things like that, really. Let's get into your still images. So photogrammetry, data. So this is stuff you set up, I assume? If so, really cool. Scan data. And you're setting up the animations from Mixamo and using that in Maya to get the timing right. So you're going pretty full on, which is cool. Like this gets into the territory of cinematic animator, cinematic designer as well. So you're showing quite a lot of a breadth of skills here, right? So like I say, I come from environment art, so I wouldn't be able. I could learn to do this, but it's not. I wouldn't really want to do it because I prefer environments and materials. Whereas it looks like you're coming from the full cinematic pipeline, like you're setting up your own rigs and moving them and doing the set dressing for it. So you're going to have a really, so once you get, the rest of your portfolio done or whatever it is, right? You're going to have so many extra skills that other lighters don't have, especially cinematic lighting. Cinematic lighting is very rare as well, because lighting is rare as it is, but a lot of lighters, every lighter has their own preference, right? But you usually get a lot of video game level lighters. So having a cinematic game lighting experience is really cool. Yeah, this is cool. Like this, for anyone watching, this is the type of stuff I want to see. The actual light breakdown. It's actually a clean way to do it. I might steal your idea for this because you've actually docked it on the side. Sequencer looks really different in your UI. Interesting. Looks cool though. So let's have a look at your actual lights. So you're manipulating lighting channels, great. You're turning shadows on and off if they're needed. Your naming of lights is awesome. Your lights are consistent. Yeah, Rex lights, they're fine. Just know that some studios will... Rex lights are very expensive, right? So some studios will have you use spotlights. Some you might get away with rec lights, but it's not a big deal here. This is clean. I like the way you've laid this out. This is really cool. Yeah, this is cool. Attenuation. Your attenuation radiuses are 250. Yeah, so these attenuation radiuses, even though the shadows are off, just be wary, because for me, for example, any attenuation that goes over 3000 with or without shadows is a concern. So if you're doing, I'd be curious to like what you're doing with these massive lights, because I would be wondering if you could do it with a directional light as well, which is parallel, right? And it's rendered a bit differently compared to other lights. So it's good that you've taken the shadows off. I'm just wary that, 200, am I getting this number right? 250, yeah, 250,000 is kind of insane, right? So just be wary on that. But yeah, just be wary on that. I'm not going to give definitives because you might be able to get away with it, but it's cinematic. But again, over 3,000 is usually, you get flagged up for some stuff, right? From tech art, at least in my experience. Attenuation radii, just change that to RADIUS. Lighting breakdown. I'm not sure if you can make the images stretch up to the border. Like, these images are quite small, and these images are quite small. Just have them go up to the border. Most people are going to be rocking 1080 or 4K monitors nowadays, so just have that go on there. Cool. Reference, yep. So I almost feel as though you've got more breakdown shots and just the video, unless you have a separate piece. No. So you've got like, not everyone's going to click a video. Like, most people are not going to click this video and watch through it when they're recruiting. Sad to say, but it is what it is, right? So it's kind of like, if I was to look at this and I was recruiting for a lighting artist, I would think you're more of a cinematic designer than a lighting artist, right? So one of the things that I'd probably want to see in this piece is take your favorite areas of this cinematic and do 4K or 1440p images like this, and just put them here, because not most people aren't going to watch this video all the way through, especially at 1 minute. Your whole portfolio will be reviewed in 1 minute. As cool as it is, right? I think this looks awesome. The fact that you're setting it up all yourself is cool, but yeah, a lot of people are not gonna go through the whole thing in a hiring situation. So I would want to see some of these images posted as your beauty shots, and at the top. So big, like this, maybe 6 to 8 of them. So video, beauty shots, construction shots, and then your reference. Okay, that's what I'd want to see laid out in here, because I think you're missing a trick by not doing that, and that's actually a big deal. I would get those beauty shots in as soon as you can. Okay, so, but like I say, you said you're starting on your journey. Starting on your journey, 9-month program, just like with the previous portfolio, you're on the right track. So just keep going, is what I'd say. And just get those beauty shots in. And remember, people are going to spend maybe 10 to 15 seconds per page, and they're going to scroll down pretty quick. So try and get the image widths consistent. If I do this, you can see, you start off consistent, and then things get really thin, and then back consistent and thin, and try and get them to use the full width of what you're doing. Okay, but overall, those are my main notes. Just in case I missed any notes on the actual lighting feedback. Go a bit over the top with these, put the bloom up a tiny bit, have like a volumetric source to them. I'd rim light this character out a bit more, try and get some spotlight highlights on some of these background elements. I would have the back of this character drop down more in darkness so that this character is silhouetted against the background. Because if you look at your value structure, you know, I darken this a bit more and maybe even lighten this a bit more in the background so that there's a silhouetting going on. Same here, this reads a little bit flat. So I try and get some more dramatic shadow, even if it's fake. Even if you've moved the directional light in the sequencer, which you can do, you can overwrite it to change the lighting for this one shot. That's what they do in movies. You know, just try and get every shot looking dramatic. And as long as you're not like changing the key light from left to right in every shot, no one's really going to notice. I like this shot a lot. This is a beauty shot. Awesome. And yeah, it's just about adding, you know, thinking about silhouetting, layering, getting some sort of dramatic shadow across the character on close-ups. Same here, I would have this character rim lighted out, and then I'd have this blue light casting some rim light, even though it might not reach properly in a sequencer. In a cinematic, you're locked in the camera, so you can fake a lot more stuff. So those are my overall notes for yours. Good stuff overall, both of you. Let me just give you a follow as well. Follow back. I say yours was more consistent in layout, but it's kind of like, okay, so you need to have the consistent layout and the beauty images in this one, and you need to have the breakdown amount. So you both need to trade almost in what the feedback was given, but you're both doing very well. You've got great potential. Please keep lighting and doing your stuff, cinematics, environment art, whatever it is. You're doing good. Keep it up. Hope that helps. See you soon.